there. Last second adjustment,
though.
But this does open up the top lane, and I believe Achie, despite the fact he's on a rise, he's not exactly the strongest of tower pushes. It buys him a fair amount of time to squeeze in.
And as far as rises are concerned, he's actually really underfarmed. 125 CS, continually getting pressured by Freddy. I mean, Freddy's a 3-5-2 Alistair, but it's still been a absolute force, taking on 2 or 3 people at a time. TPA needs to kind of weather this storm. I actually think Alistair falls off a fair bit after this point. If they can find a way to not have him as such a force in lane, he's still going to be a couple cooldowns in a team fight. bebe will be able to disengage him to reduce the threat of him while he has his ultimate running, and TP has a lot of re-engage potential. Also remember, there are 2 tier stacking champions on TPA. If they can get both of those fully stacked, it'll almost make up for their gold disadvantage later on.
A huge benefit to that as well is Morning's not taking that blue buff. It's always going to bebe, so he's going to get there so much faster, and he's going to be able to shut down Freddy on those chases if he does get that slow.
So Dragon's up in around about a minute time, and SK are the one that are starting to place those wards out. There's not a single ward down towards around that Dragon Pit area from the Type A assassins, so they are completely blind to it so far. There's the couple of them. bebe and Jay trying to keep Jesiz zoned away from that tower. Instead, he will just rotate around and defend that one. So, Type A assassins, they really need to try and force something because they have no vision at all around that area. The entire blue area, the entire half of the map.
Dropping a turret would definitely help.
It's what happens when you're down 4 turrets to 0.
Slowly back and forth. Like you said, Jap, very touch and go, especially when SK is getting into these jungle engages.
Freddy making his way down. He's left the top lane. Tried to sneak around the backside of bebe and Jay. They did actually spot him. They had that pink ward over at the red, which gave them that prior warning. Dragon up in 3 seconds, and Type A Assassin's not even close to contesting this one.
No, they need more time to stack up. This is the mid-game point in the game where they really can't fight SK. They need to just try and... They're trying for a steal. They need to get these lanes pushing. If they could just get a single turret down, it would do wonders for their map control. But for now, they're just trying to set up pink wards in their own jungle and continue to farm the lanes without dying.
It's not doing much damage. Maybe bebe could be using that True Shot Barrage to keep the outer lanes pushed and give them more of an advantage to take one of these outers down. Maybe focus in the mid lane here. A nice Black Shield coming out onto nRated. He's able to get himself out safely, taking the ults.
That's one way of stopping Lee Sin, is to get the shield down. That's the second counter, actually. SK knows the first counter is to flash away before it kicks you. Yeah. That one didn't work. So this time they bring the Black Shield. Having better luck.
See how it continues for them. Freddy back in the top lane. Stops Achie pushing in once again on towards that turret. bebe picks himself up the red buff.
bebe's build is just taking so long to turn on.
Yeah.
His power spike is just so far away. He needs to have the mana immune converted into a mermana. He needs to have that Sheen turned into Iceborne Gauntlets. He needs cooldown boots. He needs Blade of the Ruined King finish. He just needs so many things. He's partway there. Now he at least has some utility. Before that, he was nothing on the map for 24 minutes.
That's going to help in both ways if they need to get away from the cow or keep everyone in range for an Achie Rune Prison and then the rest of the fight. Definitely a different game from the beginning. Wins has been shut down a little bit after going 4-1-4. He's not able to make too many plays now. They've been trying. They're coming up empty-handed, and SK has just started to take control of the map. 25 minutes in, and they still have not lost a turret.
Yeah, they're pushing every lane so far into Type A Assassins, doing exactly what they need to do, just grinding out that advantage. nRated, though, he's caught out a little bit there. Black Shield once again working. Burns the flash, but successfully gets away. Just trying to get some of those deep wards down, and it's bought time for Freddy to shove a wave entirely onto the inhibitor turret. Nobody's anywhere near to stop him at the moment. You can see Achie's coming across, and he's got that static shiv and Triforce. He can do a lot of damage to towers.
He shoves pretty quick too, and if Achie goes in there by himself, he may just get soloed under the turret. So you can see TP has to move more of their team towards this spot. Burn the ultimate, now they have to disengage and get back to some turret defense. I think they lose turret number 5 for that.
Yeah, he's simply delay tactics working out for Freddy there. They're trying to hold time for the rest of SK. Wins trying to get around the backside, doesn't land it. Instead, he gets caught out. The kick works out still. They try and get the damage down, but Morning just does not have enough. Svenskeren gets away with a tick of his life.
So low.
Ready, Candy Panda trying to work them away. bebe fancies this one. He sees a triple kill in the midst, but does not have the ultimate available. And SK disengaged with the kill on Morning.
bebe needed to be way more aggressive right there. He has the Iceborne Gauntlets for a reason. They need to be able to close those fights out. They had such a near great escape. Wind Splash in the combo with Morning, they almost turned that one around. Instead, they get a kill. They get killed and get nothing in return.
I was so surprised, yeah. You talked about it earlier. There's a lot of over the wall, a lot of disengage, hopping around from TPA, and Morning was the only one that went over on that. There was so much potential for that as everybody was in the air to add extra damage. TPA loses out on a great opportunity there, but SK capitalizes, takes down 8. No, they didn't take down the turret, sorry, but they come up big.
Yeah, bebe just seems to be waiting for more power. It was very odd for me to see him not go in there. Just after watching him during this group stage, he's been so aggressive, especially when he plays Lucian, dashing in to try and assassinate the enemy 8 carries. We'll see though, TPA still in this one, only 4,000 gold down, despite having such limited map control.
But it is slowly growing. Jesiz actually is the one that's going to get focused on. Force the flash away. Sonic Wave still lands. Oh, Sonya's, that's not going to work out. nRated comes around the side. Doesn't want to get too involved in this one. Shockwave pulls off. Now finding land, but it's not enough. There goes the Soul Shackles. nRated gets chopped down by Morning. The rest of SK going piece by piece. And they are splintered right now. They have to focus on Morning. They get him down. Now they turn their attention to Winds. Candy Panda may have the chase on him.
Quite scary of a fight. Yeah, the safeguard gets him into range. Or out of range, I should say. And a nice Howling Gale to pop up Candy Panda and Svenskeren. Wait a minute. Whoop. Dodging through. bebe, there's that aggression. And it looks like they're not going to be able to get the relentless pursuit off of Candy Panda.
Yeah, he finished up that Muramana though. Yeah. So he is doing a whole bunch of damage. If that ultimate landed, he may well have assassinated him right there. So really good catches by TPA. That's kind of the game they're going to have to be playing as they work slowly towards getting map control. It is a stall game. Whenever they can get catches in little fights like that, they create a longer match.
Well, a little warning shot, I feel, to SK Gaming there.
Yep.
A little overconfident, and we were talking about TPA's lack of warding. They have fantastic warding right now, littered down the river. They give themselves the opportunity to take their first tower of the game here. But the warning signs are there, and that's why the wards were bought. They realize they're getting cut off by SK.
Yeah, very nicely done. It's exactly what they're supposed to do. Those wards paid off. Not using as many pinks that they can't cover in the forward ward, so they're buying a lot of greens. You can see 2 right now on Morning, and 2 as well on bebe. These guys are just trying to keep the vision up and deny the sweepers over on the side of SK.
And amongst all this, actually, the key for SK is to get Jesiz going. At the moment, TPA is building really heavy armor because they're not respecting the damage of Jesiz. They've been able to shut him down time and time again, and it's really working to the benefit of TPA.
Well, you see Freddy coming down, preparing for this dragon. He has to. That teleport is down. Achie back to the base, so he's going to be coming out, gets himself some consumables, and finishes up that Frozen Heart.
It looks like they want to fight for this one. They've given up the last 2 dragons without any contest.
Yeah.
It seems that they have that one time where they can get in, and that's a good hit.
It's really all about the poke of bebe here. Wow. One after the other, and they can potentially fight.
Shielded off quite a bit there from Jesiz. Not the nuke you were looking for from the True Shot Barrage, but they are going to get themselves in the pit. Not too scary for bebe. He can always shift out, but they pull it out just a little bit more. Got to keep an eye on that ball. Command Shockwave could really change a fight here. Freddy wants to try to come out big, but the disengage is there from Jay.
Keep in mind, TPA never wants to be trapped in a fight while Freddy can ult and stick in the middle of them. That's why they're poking and poking. They're trying to get the Alistair ultimate down and still be ready to disengage. But if they land enough poke elsewhere, they can just take the dragon outright.
Look at Wins. He's trying to flank around the side. He may get caught out here. He wants to get in, land that kick, and SK got to be so careful they don't group up, because if Morning catches him with that ultimate, it will devastate them. And that is why it is very much a game of cat and mouse right now between the 2.
See who can make the first mistake. That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. Nobody wants to initiate on this.
Freddy with a high ping trying to flank around, but he is spotted by TPA. However, if they continue this flank, it won't leave much for SK to run to. It's really all about the poke, and as long as one... I think they're just going to stop thinking about the dragon and start pushing lanes.
This dragon fight is real respect you're seeing between these 2 teams. That first move is going to be the one that makes the difference. First turret going down for TPA against SK, and it looks like SK is going to make them walk to the beat of their drum.
Candy Panda rushing straight up the mid lane right now. They've got a big wave with them. bebe has to try and get around the side, but they're going to get a lot of damage on towards this inhibitor turret. There's no flanking maneuver. SK Gaming, they pulled a great move on TPA, just like TPA did.
Deja vu.
Game one.
Oh, wins behind them.
Jesiz! Oh, a double kick up. Jesiz hits the Zanya's on the way down. Svenskeren's definitely hit up on this one. No, he gets out alive somehow. Freddy coming up big for the team again, trying to be the front line. Candy Panda, relentless pursuit right to wins, but he stays alive. nRated misses the flash, and it's too far away for the dark binding. They still could have eyes on the inhibitor turret, but bebe throwing out big damage, low on mana.
Got to be very careful what spells uses here. SK wants to stick around because they know the threat is low from bebe, but there's the home guard for Wins.
Wins coming steaming through. No, not going to land the Sonic Wave. Freddy, the man taking the hits in the back. bebe does manage to get the slowdown. bebe Wins tries to flank around the side once again. Goes in. Pulverize goes down. Achie takes the damage, but the tonic's not enough. The Candy Panda gets caught by the Asgards. Can they catch on towards him? The Dark Binding. bebe wants it. bebe will get it because Candy Panda's going down here. Can he take anyone with him? No! The captain comes through once again.
Some big kills from TPA there. Their base is about as bent as it can be without breaking. They still have that inhibitor up, and they're still on the chase.
This is absolutely crazy. Can they not see that Freddy did the headbutt pulverize so they could get out alive? nRated and Candy Panda stayed for the fight, and they are paying with their lives. Can SK make any moves off of this? We see Jesiz is actually trying to get himself around here. nRated now is creating a lot of chaos, though.
nRated actually created more pain than benefit right there because the kill now goes to Rise, which is better gold scaling than on Lee Sin. Plus now they have to deal with this death timer instead of when they were all dead anyway.
They're spotted. They're going to try and take the blue, but bebe had gone back to base. Dragon was taken. No, I tell a lie. They backed off it.
Yep.
The threat of Jesiz was enough to keep them away, and it does mean SK will pick up the Dragon. So despite the kills, not go in their favor there. They will keep the gold advantage. It's only 2,000 gold, and while that was, of course, all happening in the top lane, Morning snuck through and took down that second turret of the game by vsTPA.
What a fantastic set of play we have going on here for our last match of the day in group, or day 3, I should say, in the group stages.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing top notch on this one. We're seeing Wins and the rest of the team trying to take it to SK now. They're finally grabbing the turrets that they need. They're trying to close that gold gap. And we're getting bebe to that point where he can start to carry with the poke he's providing.
He's sitting at 35% CDR now as well, so he can throw out those Iceborne Gauntlet and powered Qs again and again. We saw the effectiveness there in the extended fights. As long as TPA can keep fighting in those really spread out ways and making the fights longer than 7 seconds long is basically the key, because they do not want Freddy's ultimate to have that big of an impact on fights.
And you know, we heard a lot about Wins pre-tournament. Of course, we saw him with the Gamma Bears last year, but he didn't really put a show on that he required. This time around at 617, once again on Lee Sin. As I sing his praises, he gets caught by the Dark Binding. The commentator's curse is real, ladies.
That is a really critical catch right there, but they still have yet to deal with this poke from bebe. They're going to try and push down some waves now the Wins is gone and the initiation threat is lowered.
Something that SK has been able to do is get these forward wards in. TPA is getting the kills, but they're not able to move on the side of SK, and SK continues to come back stronger each time here. Now, again, to the front side of TPA's base. They're going to back off and get the fights that they want. They're doing this very methodically.
Well, this is tricky. It looks like a Baron bait. Are they going to go straight into Baron?
Well, they know Wins isn't there. They don't kill it remarkably fast. Scrying Orb does spot them, and the poke from TPA is really high, so unless SK did that completely unscouted, there's no way they take that Baron.
Danger indeed. They sense it. Gonna get some ward clearing here. Freddy actually walks out over that one, looking to see if he can deter any of the backs and just be a nuisance. Not getting much. Candy Panda, that was the ultimate into the wind wall, so they do not have the culling right now.
Wins is back up. Remember, there is a naked inhibitor in this mid lane, which is what they tried to bully out. There's a gigantic minion wave getting swept out by Achie with that ultimate, but the rest of SK, they could tank this one through. Instead, TPA react fast. They're in the right position at the right time, and again, Wins looking for that flanking maneuver, looking for that sonic wave. Very, very close to landing on Candy Panda there as he rode the Howling Gale.
pushed up to their base. This is all that TPA has left now. They're going to try to find a fight here unless they can find SK making a mistake at Baron. Everybody's got the items they need to make the impact in the fight. Like you were saying, Jad, if TPA can wait 7 seconds, that fight becomes so much easier.
And it's very important that SK can find a fight in somewhat closed quarters. One thing that kind of snuck up on everyone here is the fact that Candy Panda is way ahead of bebe. If we look at the gold, actually, it's almost 15,000 gold to just 11,000 on bebe. It's like a 3.6k gold lead, actually. So for as far as Jesiz is behind, it's not even close to compared to how far ahead Candy Panda is from bebe. Yes, the Iceborne Gauntlet is utility, but that's about it from bebe right now. He needs about 15,000 gold to make that Blue Ezreal really work well, and they're just not there yet.
Well, 15,000 gold just hit right now by Candy Panda. A little bit of that armor pen definitely coming through on bebe with the Brutalizer and the rest. And you can see the gold lead a little bit in TPA for the beginning, but SK has just taken hold.
We haven't touched on Svenskeren's build either. He is full damage.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's
not
painful.
a single tanky item in there.
Jeez.
Is that an Infinity Edge he's building?
Infinity Edge?
Yeah, it is.
You could do a few other things. Technically, he could build the pickaxe into Tiamat and then make the BF sword a scimitar. But those are definitely Infinity Edge components. It's not a very good Calyx item, though. I think he's just trying to mass AD right now.
Well, it's working out. He's definitely buying the right items. Maybe they were on sale. Who knows? We'll see what TPA can do to answer back. We see bebe just trying to continuously poke out. Not been able to do much with that and control the fights. But SK has been doing a great job at disengaging. A game where they have not tried to take too much. A turret and back, a turret and back.
Well, in SK not trying to take too much, they may take too little. Yes, they've taken 7 turrets, but it's taken them 37 minutes. And there's now that GA on Morning. There's also a GA on Candy Panda. He decided to opt against the damage for more defensive utility. He showed those minions with calling.
Yeah, he did.
It's a quick cooldown. It's going to be back up, but the question is, will they get it in time? Because SK are looking to engage here. Possibly not the right move when your main AD carry just used his ultimate on a wave. bebe with the rest of his team going to get caught out by the Void Spikes, but every single time, a single one of those Mystic shots. No, tell a lie, it's the... It's been a while since I saw an Ezreal.
No, I think you got it.
Essence Flux?
Mystic shot.
I was right.
Yeah, the Q.
I was right.
Always believe in yourself. But seriously, I like the fact that TPA has double GA right now. Because they're just trying to create long fights where they can then chase people down thanks to the Janna Ezreal. They're trying to reset fights. As soon as Freddy uses his ultimate, they need to be able to have that second life. So having 2 GAs works tremendously towards that goal. And I think SK is actually in a little bit of trouble if TPA finds that right fight.
So much cooldown for bebe. If he's not using the Scrying Orb, he's using the True Shot Barrage for Vision. With that down, they're going to try to start this Baron up.
That's going quick.
Have a bit more damage now with the
Vision lost,
and
they
Svenskeren
the scout
locks it in. Good job by Candy Panda locking that one down, and we'll see what SK can do after this. Does this just make them the team to push through the base, or are they still going to hesitate and take it slow?
They need to back fast because SK are just running straight down this mid lane.
Oh, wow.
Ronnie's going to try and keep them away. Everybody's back into base, but they're going to be onto the inhibitor just as they get back.
Yeah.
Look at Svenskeren. Don't forget all the damage items he has. He's going to cleave great big chunks out of that inhibitor, and it will go down fast.
TPA giving up a lot of stuff right there just because of lackluster vision control, but it's been an exposed inhibitor. As long as they clean that mid wave, they can still hold it. It's the second inhibitor that would really break their back. They're still keeping this game close, not wanting to take the wrong fight because they know that would end the game.
Well, TPA are going to try and rush down mid here. They're going to try and take something for nothing. Dragon will go down. They will get themselves a tower because they can see SK running down towards the bottom lane. If SK don't react quick enough to this one, they may, just maybe able to break through.
It's definitely one. It's the second one that'll be the question. The home guards, how quickly can they make there? And how willing is TPA to actually take that risk? Because when they push like this, it's a long way from their base. And it is a Baroned up SK team.
Yeah, it's half-hearted push. I don't think they're going to get enough on it, and they realized it already. They do step away. So SK return. Quarter chunk of damage. Svenskeren, you can see just how much damage bebe does have, and once that build is complete, if you can land it, slow the right target, he still may just have a chance of winning the fight.
Okay, so I'm sold on the Infinity Edge for Svenskeren now because Freddy's building one.
So for Freddy, it's actually a really good item. He gets so much attack damage from his ultimate. Now that he's level 18, actually, rank 3 of Unbreakable Will, outside of the fact that it gives him 70% damage reduction, gives him an extra 90 attack damage. Yeah. So you get one Infinity Edge crit on that, and you basically pop somebody, which could very well turn this game if they get it at the right time.
So Taipei Assassins, the hometown favorites and champions of the Korea Premier League, are looking like they may give SK Gaming their first win of the group, and that would actually tie them at the bottom of the table, or third place, whichever way you'd like to look at it. Of course, both will have one more game to play. That will come tomorrow, the final day here in Taiwan. The question is, who will come out victorious on this final matchup? Candy Panda uses the Cullen, doesn't really find its target. TPA clear the way, keep them at bay for a little bit longer.
Well, it's been an absolutely fantastic match to finalize the day. Nothing taken there for morning. A little too much of a gap to be closed by the rest of the team, but it was a great pop-up. SK is standing here confidently and ready to enter the base.
It's getting to the breaking point here for TPA. They're having trouble clearing the minions in mid lane, and that could be the start of something big. There goes their fight reset.
Jay gets hit up. That's the shockwave. They haven't used the big AoEs on too many. Wow. Single target's getting focused out. Morning's going to be hit up. He tries to go into the fight. They get Jesiz quite well. He throws down the Zanya's. The true shot barrage passes through, and SK might be retreating.
They're trying to keep them at bay here. Morning went down so fast. I don't think he got a chance to use anything of that ultimate. But TPA hold off.
Thank God for his GA right there. After he resurrected, they popped the ultimate really quick to get his shield, then he could still flash away. It's the long fights they want. They just got it, actually. They might try to chase down the rest of SK here slowly, but surely.
bebe trying to be aggressive, got caught by the Void Spikes, but it was enough to slow him down. He's going to continue. There's the kick, the Sonic Wave lands, but he can't get inside. A good catch from Jesiz once again. They disengage well. bebe trying his best to keep up on them, but it looks like they can't chase them down quick enough.
Jay's flying through. This could be a nice Howling Gale to pop them up and continue the fight. He's going to throw it. It's diagonally. No, it goes up instead of across the trees.
Sven right side.
Sven's coming in from the back there. Very nicely done. Morning gets hit up through everybody because of Freddy, and they're able to take him down near 70 seconds on these Death Chamber clocks.
Super Minions doing damage to that Nexus turret, but SK Gaming disengaged well. Oh, bebe sniped out going in the bush just for the end there. That's going to hold things for a few moments.
Explosive.
Just poking and prodding for TPA as they're trying to keep this game going. They didn't break there. Honestly, that was a very good hold by them, and you can see the potential. Unfortunately, the Guardian Angel from Yasuo is down, so they won't have that one left. Nice snipe. Right on a Svenskeren as well. So yeah, Bloodthirster actually for his BF sword. Sitting on that pickaxe.
He did it. What a joke.
However, Freddy's got that Infinity Edge now. So there's that.
Does indeed. 561. Yep, that looks like it hurts.
Yeah, and when he's going to be under Unbreakable Will, it's going to get much higher.
Really giving himself some options. The rest of the team on the side of TPA have their options as well. They are all near full items here. 44 minutes in the game. We're getting very close to that point. The Brutalizer just to be finished up by bebe. He'll be done with his build as well. These fights, this is the point that's my favorite because the items are just the items now. It's how well you can play the champion you brought to the table.
Yeah, that Baron's going to be up in 90 seconds time along with the Dragon in 75. I wonder whether SK Gaming are even thinking about them or whether they just want to push straight on through. They've held on for a while, but every time they keep on trying to push through, TPA have an answer and they just hang on in there. We talked about how they needed to make just that one little incy-wincy play, and bebe seems to have the answer every single time they go through. Once again, the exposed inhibitor is the focus. bebe's trying to sneak around, trying to get those angles. But Candy Panda has his GA back up. Morning does not.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yasuo has to play much more cautious. However, they still have that Rise GA. I just heard a Ghost Blade get popped by Candy Panda. Yeah, that is not the most critical cooldown. It comes back in 45 seconds. And it's really hard to push into this TPA team after what happened last time as well.
Where is Wins going? He's coming around the side. He's trying to flank them.
He's got to watch his kick here. They saw that ward come from behind. That's going to be a call that Freddy makes. We need to be careful.
You have to make sure not to get black shielded as well. That's the most critical thing.
Oh, good work wall there. Immediately blocks it off. Yeah, testy on this one. Candy Panda, half the hit point shredded off him, and again, TPA pushed them back. The Baron about to spawn.
bebe did expend about half of his mana pool in that last fight, though, which means it would not be good for an extended fight. Plus, Rise is up there. This Baron's going down fast. TPA has to act immediately.
Wins is not close enough.
Not close enough indeed. Oh, the true shot barrage. About 1,000 HP too soon. Nice try coming out of bebe. He's been making plays. That one just misses. Freddy can't get too close. He's getting chilled out there coming through the mid lane, and they are going to be forced to walk this one back in slow with the Baron this time.
Yeah, SK can't get cold feet here. They have to go straight for the inhibitor, and then probably, if they get that without using Unbreakable Will, head for the top lane turret.
We'll see whether they get through on towards that one and get a couple of shots on towards it. The inhibitor slowly rocking down. Achie desperately trying to get in close enough. They still haven't taken the inhib now. That culling not doing a great deal of damage, and Taipei Assassins, well, despite losing that inhibitor, they hold on and they get themselves a turret of their own with the Winions.
Achie using his ultimate on that one to kind of deter it. SK wasn't having any of it. They're going to go ahead and now push the top lane. Losing that bottom one should reset soon, actually, with the next wave coming out. And the turret as it reaches that minion wave. 77,000 to 70,000. We're at 147 combined right now. Everybody's playing out of their minds, especially bebe for TPA, really keeping them in this game.
Just so annoying to play against a full item blue Ezreal.
Yeah.
However, that turret's very low, and the Baron buff makes the fight something SK can use for their benefit.
Freddy headbutts Wins into SK, and SK leap back in surprise along with Rivington, by the way. They do manage to take down the inhibitor turret along with the inhib, and it seems that SK may well have just cracked that nut wide open that they've been desperately trying to work through for Taipei Assassins.
It's definitely a storm that TPA has been trying to weather for quite some time. Finally breaking through the outer walls here. 2 inhibitors down. TPA doesn't really have the greatest of wave clear, and SK will just keep going all the way around. They've definitely worked their way into this position, but they are in position to win now.
Absolutely. Only 4 turrets allowed for TPA to be taken down. And there's about 5 that stand, or rather 3 that stand, I'm sorry, on the rest of the map. Coming in for SK. It looks like they want to drop everyone as they go through. They only have 1 inhibitor. TPA, I like the moves they're making. They're trying to get deep wards in, and they're trying to get some picks so they can make a move.
They want to catch somebody out here, but SK Gaming have been up against teams that have tried this many, many times before.
This is TPA's favorite spot. I feel like every time they fall behind, they wait there and try to get a pick.
They're going for Freddy.
They're going for Freddy, but I think they know they're going to find a crossfire of SK on the way through, and that's what they're waiting for. Another great shield coming in from nRated. He's locking down the shield. Will he be able to lock down the soul shackles? No, he does not. They are going to grab Achie. Can they recuperate on this as he comes up from the Guardian Angel? It's just too much chaos, and Freddy joins the fight.
Achie's teleport goes straight into the team. bebe gets away, but no help. Win's going to get chased down. He gets hooked up. bebe, the last man. Can he keep them at bay? Tries to force off, fires off the ultimate. Morning now, coming around the side. Can he create a play? Gets on towards nRated, takes down 1. bebe continues to kite them backwards in towards the base. The rest of SK chase on through. Morning has to back fast.
How slow can bebe make SK? Morning's on his way. It is a 2v5 trying to defend these next turrets, but those super minions do not go down easy.
Gonna lower that armor. They're gonna drop these turrets. Headbutted right out. Freddy says, I'm the front line. You gotta go through me. They drop it down. 1 for Candy Panda, and that's gonna be 1 for Jesiz. They drop the turrets. They're looking at the Nexus, and SK Gaming takes down the Taipei Assassins.
SK Gaming, a 50-minute brawl right there with TPA. Down in kills by the end of it, but ahead in the overall game. They get their first win of the World Championships.
Fantastic matchup we just had here to close out day 3 of group stages. Amazing play from both teams. A shutout early game from SK, which shows the strength that they would have loved to have coming in to Worlds right off the bat.
It's been a long way coming, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They've been waiting for that one victory, and it took SK Gaming to fall back onto a couple of comfort champions, honestly, that made them work. And you just saw Chris on nRated, sorry, on Morgana, finally getting that black shield off, and it just stopped wins so many times. He fell for it, went for the kick. Not going to work when that black shield is on, and he fell for it 3 times running.
Stopped the TPA initiation in most of the games. Black shield is better than flash.